So welcome to our class. We want to consider limit of a function and continuity of a function. So limit of a function is what has been treated under elementary calculus. So we want to consider the analysis aspect of it under grid analysis. So we define limit of a function as follows. We say that let f of s be defined on an interval around a point A. So we say that the limit of f of s as s tends to A is L. So that is, if you have this type of thing, then we define it as follows. If for every epsilon is greater than 0, however small, that is, if you can find a very small number, epsilon, if it is for every epsilon is greater than 0, so we can find another number, delta, which is positive as well, but this delta is always depend on this epsilon, such that absolute value of f of s minus l is less than epsilon whenever this happens. Now this is called epsilon definition of limit. So we call it an epsilon definition of limit. And this limit, so whenever we have to prove a limit, you'll be using this definition to prove a limit. So that is to say, anytime we have this type of expression, this statement follows. So let's take the following theorem. So we have the theorem. If the limit of a function exists, then it is unique. What does the theorem say? What does the theorem means? What it means is that if you have a function f of s, if the limit of a function f of s exists, if you have a function and it has different limit points, so that is, it has different L, then it is unique means that no matter what L will be, all of them will be the same thing. So in that, if you want to prove this theorem, so we need to create limit of f of s tends to L. We pick one L, and then we pick another one. Limit of s tends to f of s equal to L2. So that is, if this f of s tends to L1 as s tends to A, and it also tends to L2 as s tends to A, then we want to show that L1 is equal to L2. That is, we want to show that L1 is equal to L2. Now, anytime this type of relationship occurs, this thing follows. So we start by this. Now, by definition of limits, we say that if for every epsilon is greater than 0, there exists delta according to what is there, greater than 0, such that, this is how we write such that, or you can write it in word, such that absolute value of f of x minus L, but L1 is what we are dealing with here, L1 is less than epsilon. So epsilon there, we use epsilon over 2. So we are dealing with two things because we are having L1 and L2. Also, that is whenever 0 is less than s minus a, is less than, we have delta here, so we are dealing with two things. Let us say delta 1. Also, for the second one too, for this one too, we have the same thing. So I say that and f of x minus L2 is less than epsilon over 2 whenever the same thing occurs. S minus a is less than delta 2. Now from this place, we know that absolute value of L1 minus L2 can be written as absolute value of L1 minus f of x plus f of x minus L2. We know this before. That is, we can express this one as this. You know that minus f of x plus f of x is the same thing as this. And by triangular inequality, I can write it like this. L1 minus f of x plus absolute value of f of x minus L2. So that is by triangular inequality. So if you recall the triangular inequality, this is the triangular inequality here that we have done before. Absolute value of a plus b is less than or equal to absolute value of a plus absolute value of b. So this is representing our a, this is representing our b. So which is this? So what we are saying is that absolute value of L1 minus L2 is less than or equal to, since this thing is inside absolute value, we can write it like this. So we can write it like this. This will be strictly less than, remember, f of s minus L1 is strictly less than epsilon over 2. So this is strictly less than epsilon over 2 plus this one too. From what we have here is strictly less than epsilon over 2. So for all 0 is less than s minus a is less than delta. Here we say that delta is the maximum of delta 1 and delta 2. Now what we have here is L1 minus L2. What we have shown is that it's less than epsilon. So if it's less than epsilon, we know that epsilon is very small by definition, however small, and this thing is still less than epsilon. So we can say that absolute value of L1 minus L2 is approximately equal to 0. So that simply means we can write it like this, which is equal to 0, because this is value. So from this list, this will L1 minus L2 will be equal to 0, which implies that L1 is equal to L2. So, and that completes the proof. Our aim is to show that L1 is equal to L2, just like what we have here. So with this, let us treat the following. Other properties or theorems of limit are being treated under calculus. So let's consider the following examples. So we want to prove that this limit, this is equal to 2. So solution, we use the definition of limit. So by definition of limit, so remember, let's write out the definition of limit. So this is it here. Now our f of x is this. This is our a and this is our L. So this is our f of x, this is our a, this is our L. So let's substitute it here. But we can't come to this now. We need to prove out this thing. So this implies that f of x is 3s minus 4. Our aim is to find delta. And we are proving limit. We want to find the value of this delta minus L. So our L is 2. So if you simplify this further, okay, let me put is less than epsilon. If you look at this thing can become 3s minus 6 is less than epsilon. From that place, you observe that 3 is common. We can factorize 3. So this is x minus 2 is less than epsilon. And if you make x minus 2 the zero formula, this will be epsilon over 3. So this has shown that, by this, epsilon is less than s minus a. Our a is 2, is less than delta. And from this side, we got this. So if you compare the two, so you see that hence delta is equal to epsilon over 2. Our aim is just to find the delta. Since we have found delta, so we can now say that hence the limit is 2. So the limit, because we can find epsilon, so we have found delta. The delta, we have said that it will depend on epsilon. So we have found delta this. So since we have found it, so we don't have any problem again. So if you can check, so we have this absolute value of 3s minus 4 minus 2 is less than so this will be equal to 3 into s minus 2. And we have seen that s minus 2 here is epsilon over this over 3, not over 2, over 3. Epsilon over 3. This is epsilon over 3. So 3 cancel 3. So I can say it's less than epsilon. So we have completed the proof. So our aim is just to find the epsilon, which we have found. Epsilon is sorry, our aim is to find the value of delta, which we have found. So and that completes the proof. Let's consider another example. Example 2. We want to show that the limit, we want to prove that this limit is equal to this. So as usual, you have to start from the definition. If for every epsilon is greater than 0, we can find delta greater than 0 such that this happens. That is by definition. So what we take note is this is our A, this is our F, and this is our L. So we only need to start from this place. So what we have there is 2s minus 1 minus L, which is 5, is less than epsilon. So for all s minus a, our a is 3, is less than delta. So we'll now be working towards this. So without stressing ourselves, we see that minus 1 minus 5 is 6. So this will give, and 2 is common. So if you factorize this, will give me 2 minus this is less than epsilon. So this implies that this is less than epsilon over 2. For all s minus 3 is less than delta. If you compare both sides, this implies that delta will be equal to epsilon over 2. So we have found the value of delta. So since we cannot say that since we have found the value of delta, which depends on epsilon, is equal to this, hence the limit is 5. So our aim is just to find the value of delta. So we have found it. So let's take another example. So we have considered linear function. Let's consider quadratic function. So the third example, we want to prove that limit of this is equal to this. So this is our A, this is our F, and this is our L. So we start by writing this story. So for us to prove. So this implies that our f of s is this, s squared minus 2 plus 2s minus 3. Then minus L. So this is our L, that is minus 5. Is less than epsilon. Whenever s minus a, our a is 2, is less than delta. Our aim is to show this. If you continue, we are going to have s squared plus 2s minus 8 is less than epsilon whenever this occurs. So this can be factorized, and if you factorize it, you are going to get s minus 2 and s plus 4. So this is less than epsilon. Now this case is different from the linear case. So we are having two cases here now, this and this. We know that this one will represent delta. Now let's start from this one. So what we want to do is here, you start by saying let's choose delta to be equal to 1. So we assume that delta is equal to 1. So we are now coming to this. So if we choose delta to be equal to 1, this will imply that s minus this is less than 1. And whenever this thing occurs, by inequality that we have treated before, this thing means minus 1 is less than this, is less than 1. So if you add minus 2 to both sides, if you add plus 2 to both sides, or if this minus 2 gets to both sides, it will become plus. So this will just be 1 is less than s, is less than 3. So because if minus 2 goes to both sides, it will become plus. Now, our aim is to get this out. We already know what this one means, so we need to know the value of absolute value of f plus 4. Now, if you add 4 to both sides, that is 1 plus 4 is less than s plus 4 is less than 3. So this implies that 3 plus 4. This implies that 5 is less than s plus 4 is less than 7. So s plus 4 is less than 0. This will simply means that absolute value of s plus 4 will be less than 7, or we can pick it to be equal to 7. I can now come back to this place. Let's call it 1. So hence 1 becomes, this will be s minus 2. Remember, absolute value of 4 is less than 0, so we put less than 7 there. Everything is less than epsilon. So this implies that s minus 2 is less than epsilon over 7. So for all this, s minus 2 is less than delta. If you compare, so this implies that delta will be equal to epsilon over 7. So we have found the value of delta. But this is not the only value of delta. Remember, we choose this and we choose this. So what you now do is that you now say that to finish the solution, we say that we choose delta to be equal to the minimum of this one and this one. You can see the minimum of 1 and epsilon over 7. So we have found delta. So we choose delta to be minimum of these two, because this is one value of delta, this is another value of delta, and that completes the solution. Let's consider another theorem. So this is our example 4. So it's another interesting one under, it's still quadratic. There's s squared there. So we still start by writing this story. Then this implies that f of s is L squared minus our L is 9 is less than epsilon. Whenever s, we know that this will always be greater than 0, absolute value. S minus a, our a is 3, so it's less than delta. Now, this is difference of two squares. We can write it like this: s minus 3 and then s plus 3 is less than epsilon. So if you have factorized it like that, so you need to choose. So let's choose delta to be equal to 1. So now come down to this. So this implies that I'll call this 1. So this implies that absolute value of this is less than 1. And whenever this thing happens, it means minus 1 is less than this, is less than 1. So we need to take minus 3 to both sides. So it will become plus 3. So minus 1 plus 3 is 2. The s will no more be there. I'll transfer it to both sides. So this one will become 4. 1 plus 3 will become 4. Now, it is this one that we need. So what do we do to get this? We need to add 3 to both sides. If you add 3 to this one will become 5. This one will become s plus 3. While this one will become 7. So this thing simply means s plus 3 is less than 7. And this implies that absolute value of s plus 3 will still be less than 7 in any case. So I cannot come back to 1. So therefore, absolute value of s minus 3 into 7 is less than epsilon whenever s minus 3 is less than delta. So this implies that absolute value of s minus 3 is less than epsilon over 7 whenever this occurs. So if you compare, so we see that delta is equal to epsilon over 7. But since we choose delta to be equal to 1, so therefore we can now say that delta is equal to minimum. We have found delta, minimum of 1 and epsilon over 7. So that is that about linear and quadratic. Let us now consider the one that has square root. So we want to show that the limit of this square root is equal to 2. So solution, we start by writing the story. So this implies that this is our f of s, square root of s minus l. Our l is 2, is less than epsilon whenever absolute value of s minus 4 is less than delta. Now, this is what we want to treat now. What we do is we rationalize this. We rationalize. And this is how we rationalize s minus 2. We multiply both sides by the conjugate of the numerator there. It's less than epsilon whenever this occurs. Now, if you expand this is just difference of two squares. It will be s square root of s minus square root of s. We have s minus 2 times plus 2. We have 4 over, this is what we have left, with s plus root 2. But this one can be written as this minus 4 divided by absolute value of root s plus root 2 is less than epsilon. But we need to take note. So we know that if you have a plus c plus d, something over this plus this, and there's plus between them. So whenever we have such, we should know that it will always be less than a over, if you remove any of this. If I remove this now, let's say over c. And if it is c that I remove, it will be less than this. It will be less than this. So in that case, if I decide to remove, so this we simply implies that absolute value of s minus 4 over root of s plus 2. If I decide to remove this will strictly be less than absolute value of s minus 4 it will be less than if I divide it by 2. If I remove it, since we are dealing with inequality, I can play with it. So I can remove this one. If I remove this one, I will have this left. So this is less than epsilon that is there whenever this happens. So if we make this formula, we have s minus 4 is less than 2 epsilon whenever s minus 4 is less than delta. So you now see that this thing means that delta is equal to 2 epsilon. So we have found delta. So in that case, the limit is true. Our aim is to find delta. So we have seen that delta is equal to 2 epsilon. So you can now see that therefore the limit exists and is what's the limit? It's 2. So let's consider another example. So this is another important question under limit of a function. So we want to prove that the limit of this one is 3. So after we have written the story, then we put the function there. The function is s squared minus 2s plus 3 over s minus 1 is less than minus limit. The limit is 3. It's less than epsilon whenever absolute value of s minus a, our a is 2 from the question, is less than delta. So our aim is to get out this s minus 2 from this side. Now, if you simplify further, you are going to have s minus 2s plus 3. If you find the LCM, this will be minus 3s plus 3 divided by s minus 1. This is less than epsilon whenever this thing occurs. Now, our aim now, what we want to do now is we are going to simplify this and factorize it as well. So we have the following. So we have this. So we have simplified it and we have factorized it and we got this. Now, we already know the value for this. So we need to know the value for these two. So as usual, so we need to choose delta to be equal to 1 so that this one becomes 1. An absolute value of this is less than 1. And that will give me minus 1 is less than s minus 2 is less than 1. So we add 2 to both sides so that this will leave. So if you add 2 to both sides, you are going to have 1 is less than s is less than 3. Now in this case now, we have two cases here that we are going to consider. So we need to consider case for this. Let me call this equation 1. We have case for this and case for this. Now for the first one, if you subtract 3 from both sides, this will give me minus 2. That is 1 minus 3 is less than s minus 3. This will be less than this will be less than 0. It will be less than 0. But if you observe that if I put this there like that, you are going to get a trivial solution there. So in that case, this I'm just teaching you. In that case, this will not work. I'm just teaching you, we will not choose this one. So it's just a trial and error. So let us choose another. We can choose any number. So let's choose half. Just choose a small number. So let us choose half. So if I choose half, if I choose delta to be half, this thing will become. So we are going to have this. So when we choose delta to be equal to half, and if you simplify, we are going to have this as usual as we have been simplifying, which is these two. So these two will lead us to two things. We need two things from this one. So the first thing is we need to subtract minus 3. Now let me say subtract 3. If we subtract 3 here, this minus 3, this minus 3, this minus 3, this is what we need because of this place. So we are going to have minus 3 over 2 is less than s minus 3, which is less than, which is less than this one. 5 over this minus this, we have minus half. If you take the absolute value of both sides, if you take the absolute value, this one will come here, and don't forget that this absolute value will neglect this negative, so this will be half is less than absolute value of s minus 3. This is less than 3 over 2. So what we are saying there is that absolute value of s minus 3 is less than 3 over 2. Now that is that about that. Also, from 2, subtract 1 from both sides. The reason why we are doing so is because of this place, s minus 1. So, and when we do so, we are going to get 3 over 2 minus 1 is less than s minus 1 is less than 5 over 2 minus 1. So when we simplify, we get the following. This and this. This minus this is this. This minus this is this. Also, if you take the absolute value of both sides, so it will still remain. It will still be the same thing. Now, what we need there is reciprocal of this, because it is at the denominator. So we need the reciprocal. So if you take reciprocal, by the law of inequality, this side will come to this side. This one will go to the other side. And reciprocal of 3 over 2 will become 2 over 3 is less than the reciprocal of this one will become this. So it's less than reciprocal of 1 over 2 is 2. And this is even true without any theorem. Now, what we are saying there is that 1 over absolute value of s minus 1 is strictly less than 2. So this is another one. So we are going to make use of these 3. So we now come back to our equation 1 here, this place. So this one can be written as this. So we have separated the something. So this is over this. Now, this one will give me, don't forget that we have found the value of this one from here. This is the value here. So this one has given me 3 over 2. And don't forget the whole of this has given me 2. That is from this place. It's strictly less than 2. It's less than epsilon whenever this occurs. So this simply implies that absolute value of 2 will strictly be less than epsilon over 3 whenever this occurs. So if you compare it, so you see that delta is equal to epsilon over 3. So remember, we chose delta to be half before. Therefore, we choose delta to be equal to minimum of half. Let me write it here. Minimum of half comma epsilon over 3. So let's consider another question leading to this type of division in limit. So another example. So we want to prove that limit of this is equal to this, and we start as usual. So from this place, this will implies that our f of s is that 2s plus 3 over s plus 4 minus limit. Our limit is 9 over 7 is less than epsilon whenever absolute value of s minus a. Our a is 3. The limit the a, this one, is less than delta. Now we need to simplify. So the LCM is this. It's less than epsilon. So if you simplify the top, so we are going to have 5s minus 15. Now from that place, you observe that 5 is common on top and 7 is common at the denominator. If you make it the same formula, you are going to have s minus 3 over s plus 4. 5 is common on top, 7 is common down. When we take it to the other side, it becomes 7 this over 5. Now, let us keep this as equation whenever this occurs. So let us choose, as usual, choose delta is equal to 1. And if it does not work, we find another value for delta. So we pick delta to be equal to 1. So my aim is to find the value for this. I have known the value for this, so I will now come to this place. So this implies that s minus 3 is less than 1, and that will become minus 1 is less than s minus 3 is less than 1. So as usual, we add both sides. We have 3 to both sides. This will be less than 4. So in order to get s plus 4, we add 4 to both sides. This will be 6 is less than s plus 4 is less than 8. So if you put absolute value, it will still work. It will still be the same thing. But it is over that we need. So if you take the reciprocal of this absolute value, the reciprocal, this will come here, this will go there. This will be 1 over 8 is less than absolute value of s plus 4. That is by inequality theorem. This is 1 over 6. Now, so we have known the value for this. So we can conclude that 1 over s plus 4 is less than 1 over 6. So we can now come back to 1. So hence 1 becomes, this 1 will now become absolute value of s minus 3 times, we are going to have 1 over s plus 4. So and 1 over s plus 4 will be less than 1 over 6. So this will be less than 7 epsilon over 5. 7 epsilon over 5. And if we continue, we'll get the following. So this implies that absolute value of s minus 3 is less than, this should be 42 epsilon over 5. So whenever s minus a, our 3 is less than delta, if you compare it, you see that delta is equal to 42 over 5. So finally, we choose delta to be equal to minimum of, we pick 1 and 42 epsilon over 5. So that completes the proof. So we have found the value of delta to be that. So let's consider another important concept. So before that, let's consider the following exercises. So we prove the following limits. So we have another important definition here: right hand limit and left hand limit. So it's almost the same definition. So it's only this one that is different. So we say that f of s tends to right hand limit if all these stories happens. Then we say that a is less than, whenever a is less than s, is less than delta. So we write it like this. So if you write a limit of s tends to a plus, it means we have right hand limit. And if so, it's only this that will change for the left hand limit as well. I will put a minus. So we normally apply this when we use when we are giving function in terms of piecewise. So let's consider cases of this left and right hand limit. Before we take the example, if this left hand and right hand limit exists, so we say that if they are equal to each other, then we say that the limit exists. Because at times left and right hand may not be equal to each other. If they are not equal to each other, then we say that the limit exists. Most of the limits we normally find inside the elementary calculus, most of them do not exist. So because we don't really know the concept of right and left hand limit. So let's consider the following example. Find the right and left hand limit of this function at s tends to 2. Hence, find the limit of s tends to 2. Limit of f of s as s tends to 2. Now, let us find the right hand limit. Right hand limit, that is s tends to 2 plus. That is the f of s. So this is just limit of s tends to 2. But it is right hand, so we are going to make use of this. 2 plus means numbers that are greater than these 2. And this is our f of s at that point. This is 3s plus 3. From this place, if you find the limit, is easy to do. This is 3 into 2 plus 3. 3 times 2 is 6 plus this, we have 9. Also, this is the right hand limit. For the left hand limit, so we have this. limit of s tends to 2 minus f of x, and limit of s tends to 2 minus, which is left hand limit, 2 raised to power minus. So we make use of this. That is numbers that are less than 2. So, and that will give me 3s squared minus 9. If you put s to be 2 there, you are going to have 3 into 2 squared minus 9. This is 12 minus 9. And 12 minus 9 will give me 3. So you see that this and this are not equal. And the summary says we should find the limit of s. So therefore we can now say that limit of s tends to 2 f of s does not exist. So since this right hand limit is not equal to this left hand limit. So let's consider another example. So we want to find the limit of f of s as s tends to 3. If f of s is a function divided by this. So now solution. To find the limit of f of s, we need to find the right hand and left hand limit. So this is limit of s tends to 3 plus for the right hand limit. So this is limit of s tends to 3. Our f of s there, that is numbers that are greater than 3. So we pick this. This is 2s squared minus 5. So if you put s to be 3 there, we have 2 into 3 squared minus 5. And that should give me this 9 times 2, 18. This is 13. It gives me 13. Also, limit of s tends to 3 minus. That is the left hand limit. So this is same thing as limit of s tends to 3. For 3 minus means less than 3. So I'll pick this function. If you put s to be 3, we have 4 times 3 plus 1. This is also 13. So since left hand limit and right hand limit are equal to each other, we say that the limit exists. Hence, the limit exists. Since the right hand is equal to the left hand limit, and both of them are equal to 13. So therefore, we can conclude that the limit of f of s is equal to 13. So that is the limit of f of s tends to 2 for this function. Another important question. Let's find the limit of this. This is left hand limit of this. In order to find this limit, this is absolute value. This function is an absolute value function. So we need to recall from absolute value. Remember, absolute value of k, we say that is equal to k if k is greater than 0, and is equal to minus k if k is less than 0. Now, this is the absolute value. So this one, we know that it will be the same thing as 2s minus 4 and minus 2s plus 4. So it will be equal to this if 2s minus 4 is greater than 0 and if 2s minus 4 is less than 0. Here we can say that or s is greater than 2 if you make s 0 formula, or s is less than 2 if you make s 0 formula. But here we are dealing with the left hand limit, so that is numbers that are less than 2. So this is the one we pick. Therefore, we can now say that limit of s tends to this 2 minus the of this will be the same thing as limit of s tends to 2. I will now pick this. If I expand it, I'm going to have minus 2s plus 4. So let us put s to be 2. This is minus 2 into 2 plus 4. So minus 2 into 2 plus 4 will give me 0. So that is the answer of the limit.